It's book organization day. Yay. Hey everyone, welcome. I'm Rebecca if you're new here. We've got our work cut out for us today. So I am standing in the chaos of all of this. I've got my little Jane Austen vibe necklace on. Yeah, I'm gonna sort out books. Funny thing is, these aren't really all my books. My other books are in storage in LA. And someday they will all join up together and I will organize them together. But for now, I have a lot of books, quite a few of which are from college, actually. A while ago, I went through all of my boxes at my mom's house, which is where I am, and I was like, well, I'm taking up too much storage with all my books in these boxes. I'll just take them out. So that's part of what I'm organizing today. But okay, just to start to give you sort of a lay of the land here. Yes, it's chaos. These are from, I haven't read that in a long time. Downstairs. Oh boy. Yep. These books. Hi. Library book. Stacks and stacks behind this chair. More books. That's not a good shot, but anyway, more books here. More books behind this chair. Books. Hi. More books. Okay. Oh, wait. Also, these books. Hi. So you can even just see from this little stack here, I have never been a book organizer. Look, we've got like self-help, we've got Nora Ephron, romantic comedy, we've got history, which I've still never read. This is like more like self-help-ish. And Tyler, which I got because I was reading this book, The Weekend Novelist, which is breaking down how to write a novel, which again I've only like half read. Evening, have not read that. That was my sister's copy. You know, we've got, oh yeah, I was starting to make a classics pile. Writing book, romantic comedy. This is actually sort of research. But it's, you know, it's like Quiet, The Second Sex, Jonathan Franzen, like plays, theater, like screenwriting, like, okay. Here we go. It's all mixed in together. So a couple fun things. This painting, it's a pretty big oil painting. I painted this in college in an oil painting class that I took. It's actually after a Monet painting. I can't remember what it's called right now, but yes, it's one of my favorite paintings I've ever done, and I did it when I was like 19 years old. It's like, damn it. This, as you can see, I turned these lights on for festivity. This right here is kind of ridiculous, but I love it anyway. It's a little like space heater with like a very realistic fire. I'm actually gonna turn it off because it's kind of humid today, believe it or not. Wow. Last thing I'm gonna show you. Grapefruit by Yoko Ono. This is so great. It's so fun. But it was actually a gift I gave to my high school boyfriend. We went into college a little bit, and when we broke up, we were, you know, just hanging out as friends, and he was kind of being an asshole, so I stole this back. It's interesting. I've never like put books into genres before, so it's interesting how things sort of blend and they don't necessarily fit together. You would think I've got like feminist writing and I've got like of course, rage. You could also put like female rage novels in that, but I'm just gonna do novels. Feminism books together. But then also like this book, this would be, you know, it would appear to be a self-help book. By the way, every woman should read this book, or bare minimum, watch this woman's, see her name, watch this woman's TED Talk on YouTube. She talks about how women will freeze when people say rude things to them, say something that like, you know, that feeling of like in the moment you can't find something to say when someone says something rude or patronizing to you, or something that crosses a boundary. And you know, afterwards you're like, oh, I should have said this or I should have said that. She teaches you how to unfreeze by simply just asking the other person a question, and it actually gets you out of being stuck. Anyway, this is such a damn good book. One of the best memoirs I have ever read in my life. George O'Keeffe, A Life, Roxana Robinson. It's nice and big. Yay. So good. I read a lot of this during my my first job out of college. I worked like the entrance gate at the San Francisco Botanical Garden. So I was like a person who would like sell you your ticket and like point, you know, show you the map, circle where you are, circle my favorite parts of the garden. Like I was that person. But you know, San Francisco, and it would rain a lot, so there would be quiet days or quiet foggy mornings, so I would just like get to sit and read. It was frankly ideal. And then I got to take a break and like walk through the garden, and I would sit there in my little like fingerless gloves and read my book, and yeah, it's a nice memory. Romantic comedy-ish, contemporary fiction. There's going to be a lot more than that. Oh god, this book killed me. I like this one. Anyway, it's just fun to revisit these things. Oh my god. Here we go. So I am guilty of this, terribly guilty of this. This is a great book. I love Jeanette Winterson. Look at how far I got. That was from years ago. I got halfway through this book and then I just stopped, and I was really enjoying this book. This is what I do. Hey, theater majors, who else has this book? Three Uses of the Knife, David Mamet. I should reread that actually. When I found this. I've got books like this. I did go through like my acting and theater books and get rid of quite a few years ago, but there's just something about this one, and I know that like, you know, little teenage me, yeah, I think I was probably 18, 19 years old when I was like trying to figure out acting. I had to read this for acting class. Anyway, I wrote, what? Question mark. What? Okay, so this is fun. This is from when I worked in a bookstore for the summer. This is an advanced reader's copy of Lauren Groff's Arcadia. The front of it is reviews, and the back is the cover. Anyway, just fun to find that. I'm glad I kept it. And I know I have a few more in storage, but fun to find things like that. Okay, back from lunch, had some leftover pizza, got some coffee, and ready to attack putting things away. I'm not doing anything fancy. I don't have bookshelves. I'm just going to try to make things, like that's where I'm tucking the books. I'm just going to try to make it prettier and more organized and just give this room a feeling of refreshment. I've just been thinking, it's so, let me see if I can set this down. I've just been thinking it's so nice to have all these books. It's so it's a funny way of putting that, but it's there's a deep comfort in it for me. All of these books were in storage for so many years, and again, I have things out in LA, but it's like painting has been for me in the last few years. It's like I'm calling back parts of myself. Right? I have so many memories with all these books, but I also, there's something about surrounding yourself with books that feels so inspiring. It feels so, it feels like having humanity around you, the wisest, best parts of humanity. It feels like having history. It feels also, for me, it feels very much so like having a library feels like planning my future, if that makes sense. Like, it's like, yes, someday I will have a home where all of these books will travel with me, and I will create my own space for them to live. And collecting them over time, I have so many memories, but I also have this dream of this future place that's entirely mine, and that is such a wonderful thing to have. That was my stomach gurgling. Processing pizza. You're welcome. This is such a messy video today. Like, there's part of me that's like, I'm embarrassed, but it's also like, it's life. Welcome. Anyway, books feel good to have around. It feels like hope. So I'm just trying to put this together. You can see there's a sort of a random order to this. Look at these are my westerns. Gotta do better than that. Got sort of like a messy collection of classics. These are hiding these right now. Theater plays back here. Some classics. Hello, hello. So, okay, I've got some like essays sort of down here. These are writing books I love. Natalie Goldberg, of course. Just like contemporary fiction. And romance-ish. Some memoirs here. This is so good, by the way. This is so good, oh my God. Everyone loves this, but if you haven't read it, you have to read it. That's the law, you have to read it. Not technically memoir, but like, let's just keep it near the top so I can grab it because I need it. Haven't read this, really want to. Okay. Oh, that looks like kind of like we clean this. Yeah, is that better? Okay. Hey, you guys, what's up? So, yes, it's the next day. It's like a foggy, soupy sort of day today. Wonderful, in my opinion. I don't know if I'm quite ready to be like super hot yet. I got everything all, you can't even really see it behind me, but the books are back there. Yeah, that was so wonderful and so refreshing, and also interesting to look at my books and sort of realize like, I have been utilizing the library a lot. Even just looking at like my contemporary fiction books, I was like, yeah, the books I've read recently aren't even on here because I've been checking them out, which is a great thing. Use your library. Libraries are wonderful. We need libraries. Yeah, it's just, it kind of struck me. It's like, wow, yeah, I've been using my money to pay for more art supplies. But yeah, it's fun to look at my books and revisit past selves. Me as a college student, me right out of college, like when I thought I was going to be an actor, when I thought I was going to be a playwright, all these different eras of self. And it's nice to keep them close and look at them on the shelf, and they're there and they're quiet and you can just look at them and remember. And also, like I said yesterday, think about the future. So I'm going to show you some books I have planned for reading, some classics, right? I'm reading this one, Pride and Prejudice, Jane Austen. Hello. Yes. Loving it. Great. That's what I'm reading right now. I have some plans to read some more classics, and while I don't want to tell you my proposed schedule, the schedule that I proposed to myself, I'm still going to tell you some of the books that I'm going to be reading this year. After Pride and Prejudice. Anne of Green Gables. Check out this copy. Pretty redhead. This is from the 70s, I believe. It's very delicate. It's very taped. This is my mom's copy of Anne of Green Gables. Check out the green sides. It smells like a wonderful old bookstore, used bookstore. Okay, I'll stop. Yeah, I'm so excited to read this novel. I have never read this novel. I know that the people who love this novel really love it. This is how I'm going to start out the summer. Anne of Green Gables. Yes. Major summer read. Hello. East of Eden by John Steinbeck. You guys, I love John Steinbeck. I love his writing style. Maybe you've done this where you love an author and you're like, but once I read that book that's apparently their great book, then it won't be the first time that I read it. It's like there's no perfect time for this perfect reading experience that I've like built up in my mind. East of Eden is that for me. I've owned this for years, for a while now, and it's like, you know what? Maybe we don't save the best things for later. Maybe we enjoy them right now. So that's what's going on with me. I want to read this summer. There is no perfect summer to read this, and for some reason I just really want to read this in the summertime. I don't know why. It just feels like it, right? Yeah, it just feels like it to me for some reason. Anyway, I'm really excited. I love John Steinbeck. That's kind of all you need to know. I love John Steinbeck. Okay, and then the last one I have, I actually think in the fall I'm thinking I might do Crime and Punishment, but I don't have a copy of that. So I will get a copy of that. Actually, I have a different copy of that in storage, but I want a different translation. So anyway, I want to get that. But for this winter, I don't know what that sound was. Anna Karenina. Yes. Listen, people, they're her knees. Okay. I read half of this years ago, and like the dipshit I am, I stopped. I think what happened was I moved. I think it was when I was like in Berkeley and then I came back to Wisconsin for a while. It was a whole thing. But anyway, this is going to be my winter reading. I share all of this with you this plan of wanting to read more classic novels. Because, for one, I'm just excited about it. And it's so fun to share what we're reading. But it also struck me, you know, I feel excited about it, of course. I'm enthusiastic about it. I feel like I have more mental clarity these days than ever before in my life, after years of healing, years of like hibernating as like a human. Like, I don't know, I'm just like, the light bulbs are turning back on, you know, the lights are going back on inside, I guess. And I have more ability to concentrate than I used to have. And that is so delightful. But I also share it with you that I have this sort of project going on, partially because I almost didn't share it with you, because part of me is like, I should be embarrassed that I haven't read these novels. Like, I was just like, oh, that's terrible that I haven't read Pride and Prejudice. I can't believe I never finished Anna Karenina. And yet, and I wonder how many people would find this relatable. Like, when I look back, if I'm lucky, I'll live to be 100 or 90, right? We call 100 a full life, even though we live much shorter. But like, if I live a full life, then I feel like I spent the first third of my life in survival mode, in panic mode, like concentrating enough to get by. You know, I was always like an A student, wanted to go to a good college, killed myself to go to good colleges. I was like working in a way that was like to avoid punishment. And I loved learning. I loved studying. I love a good syllabus. I always loved buying my textbooks at like the library books. I mean, the university bookstore in the fall. I love that stuff. But at the same time, I look back on my younger years, my 20s and even my early 30s, and it's like I was so in survival mode. I struggled so much with concentrating, with retaining information. In college, so much of it was about just like getting through, because they move you so quickly through everything. And I don't know, when I think about it in those terms, it's like, there's absolutely no reason to be embarrassed if you haven't read certain things, or if you don't even retain them. Like, I look at books I showed from college on here, like The Mayor of Casterbridge. Like, I can't even tell you what that book's about. Tess of the D'Urbervilles, I don't remember. Even Frankenstein, which I loved. Like, that was a long time ago when I read that. Like, I might want to revisit it. I don't know. I think that we live in sort of a weird world that's so judgy about what we have or haven't read or haven't seen or haven't experienced, or we don't know things about. And yet there is no shame in, for one thing, there's no shame in like saying like, no, I literally just did not have the capacity to read at the level that I truly wanted to be reading years ago. But also there's no shame in if you come from a community, a group of friends, whatever, a family that doesn't have a culture of reading. I don't actually come from a family that has an intense culture of reading, not at all. My grandfather was an intense reader, but that was kind of it. Not that people don't read, but you know what I mean. But if you don't come from that, or if you did not have the privilege of going to college, or if you didn't have teachers that were inspiring, or whatever kind of put you off, or if you had the messaging like, I'm not smart enough for this, which frankly, I definitely have that messaging in me. These are not reasons to not pick up books that are challenging, that require more of us, that open the world up to us, right? That open history up to us. So if you've ever been really discouraged about reading or about challenging yourself, or you just feel embarrassed to be like going back to the basics, whatever that means, you're not going to feel that way here with me, because I'm in it with you. And I like enthusiasts. I like the innocence of enjoying things for the first time or again. I don't know. know what it makes me think of? It reminds me of going to film festivals with short films I had made and a feature film that I made. And I was this micro budget filmmaker. And I got into it from being an actor, being a writer, using those skills, and then picking up a Canon 5D camera and making films with friends and with no money. Everyone got paid in beer. And like, we threw these movies together with all this heart, and we cared so much about them. And then I remember going to film festivals and getting this vibe off of like, particularly like angry male filmmakers who maybe had only made a short or maybe hadn't made anything at all. And this feeling of like them kind of looking at me and kind of like, it's like when guys like test you on like, this is like a joke at this point, but it's like, oh yeah, you like that band, name 5 songs or name all their members, or something like that. It's like this thing of like, I can tell she didn't go to film school. That was sort of an energy, and it wasn't just filmmaker, it wasn't just audience members. It was like, sometimes it was people running festivals, and it was like, Jesus, all I did was enthusiastically make a film without having gone to film school. Like, how dare I? Because I would be answering like questions about my film right after it had screened, feeling so vulnerable up there with a microphone, and these guys would be sitting there in the audience, like staring at me like this. And it was just like, oh God, will I ever feel educated enough? And that's so silly. Like, if anyone has made you feel that way about reading or about whatever your passion is, that you didn't go to film school, whatever you didn't go to film school means, you didn't go to art school, you didn't go to college, you didn't travel abroad, whatever the fucking thing is, like, anyone who does that, they are the problem. The person who is enjoying literature, enjoying film, enjoying whatever you're into at whatever age you get into it, like, oh my God, like, that there's magic in that. There's magic in beginner's mind. There's magic in the enthusiasm of just starting out. And so if you are just getting into these books, if you are someone who hasn't even been that into reading, if you're someone who wants to get into film, whatever, however we might stumble across each other on this here YouTube, you're welcome. You're welcome here. I hate judgment. I hate when people are too cool for things. No, I love talking to people when it's their first time seeing a certain movie or it's their first time reading something. Like, it's like, yes, oh, how'd you like it? Wasn't it great? So anyway, you are going to get more of my passion for these books, more of my passion for being a somewhat beginner painter still, frankly. I am pro beginner's mind. I am pro enthusiasm, pro innocence. Like, let's go. It's spring. We just spring cleaned our books, right? It feels good. Anyway, that's kind of all I got to say right now. That's my rant. Education is fun. Self-education is fun. And when you're the one in charge of it, oh my God, you can do whatever you want. It's great. So that's what I'm up to right now. I just feel like hanging out and reading this book this afternoon. It's foggy. It's dark out there. Time to make some more coffee and curl up. That sounds awesome. All right, take care, you guys. I'll see you next time.